champions, welcome. The squares have aligned and bingo is nigh. It's time for Elden Squares Season 3. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, we have a team of bingo divas who are looking to claim their crowns. The Tower Princesses, their primary DLC player, is someone who has a fantastic history in the DLC. He is a randomizer racing champion. Someone who has mastered the game and can do everything that needs to be done. He has the best Bale fight that we've seen all season. It is none other than Mr. Skittles and his teammate, the fastest man on the 25 squares, one of the biggest supporters and coaches and organizers who leads growth in the bingo community. He is looking to put it all on display here today. It is none other than Nexus, the Uncapped, and their opponents. Fighting out of the blue corner, we have a team that is 4-1 and looking to claim their spot in the with a first round bye. Their primary DLC player is one of the best women in the entirety of bingo. She has been a randomizer racing champion. She has fully mastered bingo, practicing it more than anyone I see, and she's gonna put her talents on display today. It is none other than Elemis, FIA's champion, and her teammate, one of the most decorated players in the history of bingo. This man has won so many leagues, he has so many top finishes, and he is looking to take his first Elden Squares title this season. It is none other than Tank Top Helios. Now let's get ready to run that board and square off. All right, Rowdy, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Are you?
I'm ready to go. And for people who are new, we're going to go ahead and we will give a board rundown here, and then we'll go over the rules of the format very quickly. Here we go. Rowdy, center square.
You know what I'm saying?
Melania.
It's gonna be Melania.
Melania as well. All right, before we give a board rundown here, you guys can see it, think of it for yourselves, but to explain the format really quickly to everyone, this is base game plus DLC bingo with progression. It might sound similar to the Bingo Brawlers format, but that is where the similarities end. But all 4 players start out in the base game at Round Table Hold. They have starting classes as well as the Round Table Shop that they can use to look for weapons. Once they are all set, the match will begin. Everyone starts out in the base game with unlocked graces pre-Altus. Once you get Altus access via Makar, Virgins, or the Dectus Medallion, you unlock post-Altus graces, as well as you get a boost to your flask with some additional sacred tiers. Now this is base game plus DLC bingo. In order to get into the DLC, you need to kill any 2 remembrance bosses. Typically, we see the primary DLC player on each team rush for that. Godric Renala is the fastest rush. And then in terms of, but you can do any 2 remembrances. You could do, on this board, you could do Morgott and Radahn, or Moog and Morgott, or Melania if you wanted to. But any 2 remembrances will do. If you have any further questions, let us know. We'll try to answer you on commentary, or someone will get you in chat. And one final thing is that bingo lines do not win. They are 2 additional bonus points, and the first team to 13 points will win the game. Looking at the board here, obviously Liurnia Bosses is the center square, a pretty light DLC board, a total of 8 squares within the DLC, 9 if you count the exaltations. Those being Devonia, Chief Bloodfiend, Sanguine Noble, Blade of Mercy and Dagger, Bellarat, Tree Spirit, Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo, Romina, Transformation, and Dancer. And then, like I said, those Exaltation Talismans are commonly done in the DLC with the Aged One's Exaltation. That being said, there is reason to potentially do it in Capital with Morgott on the board. Garonk could be done early. Godskin Noble with Blade of Mercy, Dagger Talisman is very strong, especially because it's on the same line. Moog, Lord of Blood is a square that actually has become starting to be done pretty early, especially because it will synergize with the Lord bosses. Nexus's favorite boss, Loretta, is on there. And of note that Nexus's favorite weapon, he has Rivers of Blood. I never would have expected to see Rivers of Blood in back-to-back games, but we are going to see it today.
Unbelievable. As soon as I saw Rivers of Blood, I knew.
Yep.
But yeah, very light DLC board. Kind of opposite of what we just saw. 8 total squares. I mean,
Exaltation's basically a DLC square at this point. Like, it can get done at base game, but it's pretty rare. So I would call it 9. I would wonder here, I think normally we see Godric Radahn, but I think Godric Renala, but I think Renala Rykard here is very strong. Because A, Rykard is a Lord boss, Lord of Blasphemy, right? And B and C in the main points, Godskin Noble without sleep is a square on the board, as well as Blade of Mercy and Dagger Talisman. The Dagger Talisman, you need to kill Noble for access to that talisman. So that makes a lot of sense to go that way into the DLC. But you could go Radahn's Great Rune. I think Radahn is very strong here because you also have Apostle without sleep. Both the Restore and the Apostle are in that tower. A lot of different options here as to way to attack this board. It is light on DLC, but I think this is a very interesting one here, and we'll see how it plays out. I think it'll be a fast game.
Yeah.
Nothing really too late.
And really, you don't have to cover, like, you're going south or to Rao. And, like, I mean, I guess there's just not a ton of ground to cover in the DLC either, which really also kind of shortens that play.
Well, our players are ready, and here we go. We see Nexus is running straight, most likely to Dectus route. Both Ellie and Asim here are going to go to pick up their smithing ones and then hit up Stormvale Castle. And finally, Helios picked Claws of Night and is running to the EG teleporter. Different weapons here from all 4 players. Asim is rocking Gargoyle's Greatsword. Ellie going with Gargoyle's Great Axe. So 2 similar weapons, just of different weapon class. Meanwhile, Helios goes Claws of Night. I will say Rivers of Blood a lot more justifiable here.
Yeah.
I still think I'd rather take Claws of Night, but Rivers of Blood is Nexus's favorite weapon, and he's going for it.
Yeah. If you've used Claws of Night, you know. If you haven't, you might not, but they are actually pretty insane. You do want some scaling out of them, but honestly, their claws are pretty broken in general.
Yeah, and I think this base game matchup is going to be really interesting and big here, right? 2 of the best players in the entirety of base game bingo, Nexus and Helios. Both players made it to the semifinals of the base game bingo season last in Elden Scrolls season 2, right? Or actually, Helios made it to the finals. Nexus made it to the semifinals, right? However, they did not match up against each other. So on a pretty base game heavy board, I think 2 of the players in the league who you kind of want to see go at it, right?
Oh, definitely. Helios versus Nexus is the dream. I mean, you can't ask for more. And I mean, immediately different routes from them. I'm curious to see what they'll both go for first. I like Blue Red a lot here with Liurnia bosses on the board, but I imagine they'll both somewhat take their time here and set up a bit.
Yeah, Helios preps Loretta. And he's going to go Makar. Meanwhile, Nexus is going Dectus. I assume part of that's because he needs Source Seal in order to wield the Rivers of Blood. Pretty stat heavy with both Dex and Arcane. I will say, though, the class that he picked was pretty good for it. It started with like 14 or 15 Arcane. And additionally, the players do start with a tiny bit of runes. They have 10k at the start. The reason why they start with that 10k is so that they can buy weapons from Round Table. And then they can get an additional 3k with the Lands Between runes. So
yeah, I mean, Nexus should be able to get online relatively quickly. I do wonder, he really has an obsession with Rivers of Blood.
Yes.
And especially with Claws of Night on the board. Like, I would hate to see that obsession be something that costs him time against Helios. But we'll see. We saw last game we were kind of wrong about that. Rivers of Blood did end up working out pretty well.
Yeah, I just think
Especially
Makar is
in base game.
Makar is so good here with tunnels and Liurnia bosses on the board. That's such a good way to get into Altus on here.
Yeah. I think Magmorums have 80 fire resist, so Nexus really just shouldn't be going that way anyway.
No.
Needing Source Seal as well, obviously go deck this route, but could also go blue-red as soon as he's set up in Altus if he wanted. Get that same sort of start.
Yeah. I mean, Blue Retta is one of his favorite bosses, but it's Rivers of Blood is not good on her. Like, the problem with Rivers is that, like, it can shine, but there are a lot of bosses that you just really want to avoid. You can say the same of Claws of Night, to be fair, but
yeah,
fire damage is either really good or really bad, right? And it feels like there's not a lot of in between necessarily, right? On certain fights, it's just atrocious, and then obviously if you have like Erdtree avatars, Scattertree avatars, those things, it cooks, right? Yeah, like how does he? There's no way you're getting Mogul to blood. You're just not, right?
Yeah, I have taken that fight with Rivers of Blood before. It's not as bad as you expect, but yeah, it's certainly not good. It's going to be slow.
And Ellie gets a little bit of an early lead here into the academy. If you're wondering why players go into the academy first, the reason why is because it's optimal to kill Red Wolf, and then you get the Glintstone Wetblade. Everyone picks up wild strikes, and then you can have Frost Attunement on your weapon with wild strikes, and then that makes the Godric, Renala, and Margit fights much easier if they are going with a hard rush into the DLC via Godric, Renala. However, on this board, I think there is serious merit to going for Renala Rykard with Dagger, Talisman, Blade of Mercy, Lord bosses, and Godskin Noble on the board.
It's certainly a good idea. I mean, I like it. It depends on how much you want to prioritize those few DLC squares. I mean, you have 3 in column 2 and 3 in column 5. So you could build some great threats out of them.
Yeah.
But the actual total is weak. It makes the DLC start a little weird. And actually, same on top left to bottom right diag, you have 3 DLC squares. So being ahead there could be super valuable if you're trying to create a good threat.
Yeah, both players are going into Red Wolf first here. We'll go ahead and go big screen with Ellie and Asim, as both of them are about to walk into Red Wolf. This is a fight these guys practice all the time, right? They have +9 weapons. They're like, damage is good and everything, but not a lot of health. And this guy is a glass cannon. So
yep,
things can go wrong. Meanwhile, Ellie does get hit there. That was perfect positioning by Ellie.
Yeah.
Could not have been a pixel closer. Yeah, Asim especially has like 7 Vig or something.
Health.
Like, yeah, it's horrendously. And Ellie goes down. And Ellie does go down.
Rare mistake.
Yeah, very rare mistake from Ellie. We'll go ahead and go full screen with Asim and watch him as he finishes this out. Helios here is in on Magmor and Makar. Asim gets down the Red Wolf very cleanly there. Yeah, Asim's helmet gives him some sort of debuff. He really needs to take that off. I can see the Dedicar's Woe icon, so I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but he will be taking extra damage. He really should take that off. He very well could have been one shot to Noble or to Red Wolf considering his low health. That helmet, however, he got through it hitless, so he was good.
Yeah, Makar looking
Helios staggers
a little
Makar.
chunkier.
Ellie's back in on the Red Wolf. Let's go ahead and flip to see Ellie here. Obviously, you know, a death to Red Wolf at the start isn't devastating by any means, but you know, getting off to a good start is very important. Just sets the tone for the day. More so worried about the mental, right, than anything, because oh my god, and Ellie goes down again. I've never seen her die to Red Wolf once, let alone twice. That's shocking.
Very uncharacteristic.
That's shocking.
It's gonna give Asim a really big head start here.
Yeah.
Asim's gonna be done with Margit here most likely by the time we see.
Yeah, I literally cannot.
Red Wolf.
Maybe when Ellie was very novice, right? But like in the last year, I cannot remember a time that I saw Ellie die to Red Wolf.
Helios is done there, making his way.
Yeah, and Ellie's back in.
Finishes up Margit. It was Bloodhound's Fang from Makar as well, which is a great weapon.
That is a great weapon.
Probably better than Claws of Night for Bingo, at least.
Yeah, it depends if Helios is upgraded or not.
And as Ellie,
all right, and Ellie does get that down there.
Goes to get Wetblade, and Asim is on to Godric almost.
Yeah, Asim has a lead, but the good news is there's not. I don't think there's a necessarily obvious rush here in the DLC, right? It's not like there's something insane that she's missing out on, right? So it's really not the most punishing board for being slightly late to the DLC. That being said, it is more so just worried about her mentality, right? Number one thing she's always said is like, I just want to play well. You know, for her standards, I know that Red Wolf deaths are just, you know, well, she'll not be happy.
And Helios did upgrade Bloodhound's Fang to +4 there, so that will be his weapon for this game.
Yeah, Ellie is...
in terms of the base game battle, Bloodhound's Fang versus Rivers of Blood, you favor Bloodhound's Fang.
100%. But Nexus has a jump. This column 4 is very threatening. Very, very, very threatening. Radahn's Great Rune, Godskin Apostle, Raven Ghost Gulvort, Bell Bearings, those require Radahn. Payload access for Garronk, and then Lord Bosses is kind of the odd one out, right? That's a very threatening row 4 for column 4, and Nexus is already working on it. Great job by Ellie getting Margit down nice and clean. Asim now is in on Godric. We'll go ahead and go full screen with him, and then we will check in with Nexus when he goes for Radahn. Helios is currently finishing up tunnels.
Asim already pretty much out of phase 1 there. Great start to the Godric fight. Getting stuck on the gravestones with wild strikes there. He did not like that.
No, he did not like that one bit. All right, so if Nexus doesn't hitless Radahn here, game over, right? Thinking top win?
With Rivers of Blood, I think we can let him take a hit or two, maybe.
No, that's his favorite weapon. No excuse. I'm pretty sure he told me once, I'd rather take a +0 Rivers of Blood over Starfist. Direct quote. +25 Starfist.
That is something he would say.
Mm-hmm. Also, Helios, granted, I say that I thought of it because he messed up the Bloodhound's finesse there, but Helios is one of the, outside of Iron and Taipa, one of the few players in the league with legitimate speedrun experience, and should be very strong with the Bloodhound's Fang. We'll see Nexus here. It does not have full any % glitchless speedrun experience, but he is someone who optimizes everything for Bingo. Most players choose to despawn for the arrows on Radon, but Nexus does the full speed run tech to get into the fight faster. This looks scarier, but it is slightly faster.
Oh yeah, that's damage.
Yep, this is definitely damage. I don't know if he's +4, to be fair. This looks low. Like, this looks like it's
There's no way.
+2. I'd say like +2. He might have not had the money. Yeah, there's just no way this is +4.
He's gonna have a good phase 1 here.
Yeah, very good phase 1. Needs to be careful in phase 2, especially because he's dependent on Sword Seal. After the buff, the Cragblade buff to Radon's swords, he is very likely one shot here.
It's close, but probably. I don't think there is anything he can actually
Big
take.
stagger there. Very big stagger. Textbook. Absolutely textbook.
Insane.
Very nicely done there by Nexus. Hitless. I'm curious what level his weapon is at. We're going to go ahead and check in here with Asim and Helios. Asim is going for Renala. Helios is finishing up tunnels and actually doing it a little greedily here. He's finishing up tunnels with the Falling Star Beast. The reason why you do this is because you get a Somber 6 from killing this boss, as well as a Somber 5 right outside the cave. And Nexus is actually fighting Alexander in order to get the Shard of Alexander, or Warrior Jar Shard, but this is unironically an actual fight with Alex, because Rivers of Blood not good.
Yep. Got it done though. Helios almost done with the Falling Star Beast here. Ash of War very good in this fight.
Very nicely done by Helios. Beautiful job working in the Bloodhound's finesse. We'll go full screen with Asim here as he goes for Renala. Ellie's about to enter in. And I would assume that Nexus just probably goes straight to restore Radon's Great Rune and might even go immediate Apostle after that. But no, actually, he decides to go Loretta instead. He's going very aggressive here. I guess the tunnels mark says I don't have Radon dead. He thinks he can do Loretta before Helios can kill Radon, which is a good bet. I think, yeah, Loretta makes sense. The only problem is that Helios is going for it now. They're going to be racing there for Loretta. Ellie is in on Renala. Does she get the 1 cycle here, or will she have to fight phase 2? She's going to miss out.
Asim didn't quite get it. Yeah, just didn't have the stamina.
Yeah.
Maybe could have thrown in the actual finishing move there to try and sneak it, but I don't think it would have been enough.
Yeah, and Helios was thinking about going Loretta, but is just prioritizing weapon upgrades, so Nexus will have a free run at this. Ellie in on phase
probably
2.
Smart from Helios.
Yeah, I think Nexus's play is somewhat predictable, just knowing him, right? Because one of Nexus's favorite bosses is Loretta. Like, I legitimately think he's the best at Loretta in the world. Like, some of the stuff that he does is ridiculous. You'll see it here in a second. But for Helios there, because he decided to greed on tunnels and do slow tunnels, I can imagine that he's like, I don't know if I can push Loretta. Very risky, could be walking into a snipe there.
We'll see how it plays out. 3 tunnels is
Ellie
a
does
great
get
start for
Renala
Helios.
down. I mean, considering it was with 2 deaths and a subpar weapon in 18-minute DLC entries, really not too bad. With like a cracked weapon or a very good weapon in a very clean entry, you'll see sub 15 minutes, right? To get those 2 remembrances down. But that's very Very nice recovery there by Ellie.
Definitely. At least I'm just getting stones via forts right now. One of the two options for getting stones, the other being forages.
Yeah, one of the things about this format, if anyone is new, because it is a progression-based format, right? Games can start out a little slow in terms of the actual, like, you have plenty of action on the screen, but in terms of the square pace, it'll start a little slow as players try to progress their map and upgrade their weapons. And then particularly once we hit that 30-minute mark, it just explodes. Like, trust me, these games will not go more than like an hour and 15 minutes. Now, that sounds crazy with one square on the board, but I talked about how good Nexus is at Loretta, and well, let's see the work of art here.
I mean, abysmal damage. He's going to need all that practice he's put into this boss.
What the hell, dude?
Yeah, little crouches to dodge all the swings are insane.
He had to roll. He had to roll twice. 3 times, 3 rolls. Unprecedented. Dude, like, how does he... Beautiful. I don't know how he... I don't know how he
re-rolls.
Trusts on himself. I don't know how he trusts himself so much to just... Like, it's one thing to do it in practice, but to, in a game, just trust yourself to crouch all that little stuff. Like, I don't know how he has that confidence, but he does.
Hours and hours of fighting the same boss. That's how.
Yeah.
Helios is in...
Helios is going for Moog. Helios is going for Moog.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Helios is pushing Lord of Blood.
With a +9 Bloodhound's Fang.
I mean, he has the damage, right? And actually, he'll be able to get a good amount of health. I mean, well, not as much as you would want, and he still only has +3 flasks, but enough with the Lord's Rune, right? For him, enough, right? Yep.
Just despawning the invader to get to the portal.
Yep. Nexus here will restore Rodon's Great Rune. The question is, after that, does he immediately go for the Godskin Apostle in Caelid, or does he choose to sit on it?
He's also got bell bearings on the board, right? There is 2 squares here that he has access to.
Oh yeah, and I did notice, thank you, Dino, Helios does have Rot Grease as well for Lord of Blood, which Bloodhound's Fang, because broken, he can rot him.
Yep.
Asim is going straight for the Golden Hippo. This is not an easy fight.
Not at all. Helios going Moog this early is...
Yeah.
I mean, I think I speak for most people when I say it's insanity.
Yes. But I think
that is wild.
He might feel like he needs to make a play a little bit, right? He knows Ellie is slightly behind on the DLC there. So looking to make a play for his team by going for an early Lord of Blood.
Yeah.
Nexus will restore the Great Rune, and we're going to go ahead and go full screen here with Asim while he preps for the Golden Hippo. Also, his stream is choppy. All right, seems to smooth itself out.
Cleared it up just in time.
Yep.
Good work, Twitch.
Twitch said, Hippo on screen. Need good FPS.
Yeah, that damage is...
Oh, and he gets munched, but he does have just enough health to survive. There goes Rodon's Great Rune on the board for Nexus. Dude, the board sounds scare me. I'm so not used to it. I never ever play or do anything with board sounds. Asim misses out there. He goes for the vacuum riposte. I know that looked very weird, but there's a vacuum riposte that you can get where you just get sucked into it. He missed out on it there. Oh.
Oh,
What is happening?
we're good. We're alive. Little freeze.
Oh my
We
god.
lost all our FPS, but that's okay.
Seeing needles in slow motion was horrifying. Seeing him
It
one
really
shot
is a
to a
terrifying
needle
move.
in slow-mo was not great. That was not good for the heart. And now we have Helios going for Mogul to Blood here, so we're gonna go ahead and bring this to the dual screen. And meanwhile, Nexus is going for Godskin Apostle in the Divine Tower of Caelid.
It's crazy.
Ace him down to one HP here. He's in a lot of trouble. Just one flask left. Screw it. We're going to the quad screen here. Early quad screen. Asim Hippo top left. Helios Mogul to Blood bottom right. Nexus going for Godskin Apostle and Caelid on the bottom left. Meanwhile, Ellie is just continuing to do more setup in the DLC. Probably going to make her way towards Hippo as well, actually. Asim's in a lot of trouble here. He's only at half health and has about one flask left. There's a big frost proc there for Asim. Helios has yet to get the rod off on Moog. Will he even be able to get it off? His damage is ridiculous. Asim does go down there, so we're going to go ahead and go to the dual screen here. Nexus and Helios will be moving to the top of your screen. Helios did get the rod off there.
That rod's big. That'll deal with about half of this health bar almost, depending on how long this fight goes.
Big stagger there for Nexus. Yeah, he did get it. No, he didn't? I thought he got it.
He didn't. Nope, he did not.
That's very frustrating.
Still does enough damage.
Yeah, I mean, still has enough damage. Just slows the fight down a little bit and a waste of a rock grease, but it is what it is, right?
Yep.
What are you going to do? Reset and try to get your rot beast back? And actually, we're going to the quad yet again. Asim continuing, well, trying to work there on the Hippo. Ellie is going for the red Ralva, one of the Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo bosses. There goes Godskin Apostle and Caelid. Caelid, very nicely done for Nexus there. We'll watch Helios finish this out. Big stagger there for Helios. Big bleed. This should kill. Beautiful. Absolutely textbook by Helios. I think that was hitless outside of Nihil. Asim's having some issues really quickly. We're going to go ahead and refresh. See, it might be Asim might be having some stream issues on my end, so I'm just going to refresh and get everyone back. There goes the Mogul to Blood Mark there for Helios. All right, so let's put Ellie and Asim there on the big screen. It looks like Asim might just be having some FPS issues, and we might have to deal with that. Just to be clear, these guys are not professional streamers. They are bingo players, and we are privileged to be able to call their games. So sorry for the issues, but you know, there's nothing.
We'll make it through.
How is Ellie surviving?
I have no idea.
Never mind. I was literally about to say, like, unironically, does she accidentally have ER tool down? But no, she does go down there to the bear. We're seeing both Ellie and Asim slightly having some issues here early, but Nexus and Helios are both going crazy. It is a base game heavy board. I think, you know, it's not only going to be the story of this match will probably be can Helios and Nexus continue this great pace that they're on, but B, you know, who can do more to support their teammate here and continue to pick up squares in that DLC? Will it be Asim or will it be Ellie? Asim keeps missing out on the vacuum riposte.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think the
Let's have a
Great
little
Sword
more.
was a mistake. I honestly think the Great Axe was the better weapon pick. And Nexus is going for Garunk here, so back to quad again.
Nexus really pushing that column 3.
Nexus is pushing very hard. Also, to clarify, I gassed up Helios too much. He got hit one time before Nihil.
Oh no.
I know. Wash, right? My Wash
Devastating.
King. Asim gets that down. Ellie's still fighting the bear. We'll go ahead and just leave this on the quad screen here until Ellie gets it done. And then we'll go full screen with Nexus. Nice job by Ellie. He gets that down.
Great work.
We will go full screen with Nexus here as he looks to finish out Garunk at about half HP right now. Dude, what level is this Rivers of Blood? It looks atrocious. I feel like he's
That
fighting
might be
with a
plus
toothpick.
4, +5, but Garunk is just beefy and.
Well, I
Rivers
can
of Blood
see
is
the
Rivers of
number.
Blood.
I can see the number. It's low. Like the actual 600 on the riposte there.
Ugh.
256 on a charge R2, but does get the bleed and does get the kill. There we go.
Insane.
Nexus is putting up serious pressure on this column 4. Helios is already looking to address it, going for Lord bosses, right? Because the other thing too is Nexus already killed Loretta, so he has access to a very easy Lord boss in the Onyx Lord behind Loretta. However, Helios has killed Moog, Lord of Blood, and this will be his second boss, Lord boss here, the Alabaster Lord.
And the Onyx Lord, one of the weird bosses that can't frost but can bleed. So Bloodhound's Fang. I mean, it looks insane here. Those are just light attacks. There it is, 2 down.
Yeah, Nexus is moving into Altus here. 2 down there. We'll go full screen with Ellie here for the Hippo. I think this is a very important fight for her. You know, made some mistakes, very uncharacteristically made some mistakes early here, but just get that confidence. And I do think she made the better weapon pick. I thought these weapons
and great
were
wild strikes into riposte there too.
Yeah, I thought these two weapons were very similar between the Great Sword and the Great Axe. You know, both being gargoyles weapons. But no, the Great Axe seems to be fairly significantly better in terms of DPS.
Yeah, Great Axe is pretty good weapon class.
And I think
Maybe
we're
we'll
going to
use
see
them a
a
ton.
snipe. I think we could be seeing a snipe here at the bottom of the screen. Both Ace, kind of. Helios went and picked up the Sentry Torch, but Nexus is already pushing for the Black Knives. If you're saying, why is he going towards Ordina? Invisible Assassins in Ordina, you can buy the Sentry Torch. We are playing with a weapon randomizer, but torches are not randomized, so he picks up the Sentry Torch, can throw that on his back, and then kill the Black Knife Assassins in Ordina to claim the 3 unique Black Knife square. That'll get a block on the row number 2 there. That tank and top we're potentially building up. Very clean Hippo there from Ellie. The problem is going to be for Nexus here as he goes for these assassins. They are immune to bleed, and his weapon is not great.
Yeah. But it
Helios
is
here-
Nexus at the end of the day.
Helios here is pushing into Capital. He's going to be looking to get his final Lord boss with Synergy. Godfrey first, Elden Lord will be number 3. Godfrey, Moog, and an Onyx Lord. Additionally, that will set him up for Morgott, so that he can mark that square.
It's a pretty good comeback play if you just sell out on the Radon synergy there, which is unfortunately what happened.
Yep. Ellie's going to go finish Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo here. She killed the Red Wolf of Radagon, Ralva, the Great Red Bear, the Golden Hippo, and now the hardest of them all, the Rin Bear and Weeping.
Maybe the hardest boss in the game.
No, that's Scaly Misbegotten.
My bad. Both in Weeping. Notoriously
Yes.
difficult area.
Nexus gets one of the black knives down there. Beautiful Bloodhounds finesse there from Helios into the stagger.
Insane.
Absolutely perfect. Helios and Nexus are both going off today. Like, they both look in absolute prime form.
And I mean, this is the board where the two of them would shine the most on these teams, I think.
Yes.
Especially with the late DLC, Asim and Ellie are playing a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, two of the best base game bingo players in history of the sport, right? You know, these two, Shura, Trump, Catalyst, NPT, right? Like, all on the list. And seeing these two go at it here in a slightly different format, but such a base game heavy board is an absolute treat. Also, my goat Bushy. We got to throw out Bushy there.
Hey, the OG.
The OG. Nartok, there you go, buddy.
2 down for Nexus. He moves on to his third assassin, and Helios going to get his Lord Boss and Morgott here. 2 quick marks. But Tower Princess is kind of holding a little bit of a lead here. And I do like their position a lot.
Next is going to kill this final Black Knife. Both Ellie and Asim are working on getting Altus access so that they can have Altus and DLC. That will allow them to do some of the any split progression squares, but also given such a base game heavy board here, they can make an impact in the base game. I have a question. Is Asim's stream struggling for you, or is it just a me thing?
No, yeah, that is his stream.
Got it.
I'll double check quick.
Nexus will finish Black Knife Assassins, and Tank and Top will take a 5-4 lead. Granted, Helios is primed right to fire back with 2 additional squares. Godfrey will be 3 Lord Bosses. That'll bring it to 5-4. And then after that, or Godfrey will be 3 Lord Bosses, 5-4. And then Morgott, that will make it 5-5. The one advantage for Helios is that he will have DLC access. It is pretty important, normally pretty important to have access to both. It would allow him to dip into the DLC and steal a square there if he wants to. Just gives the team a bit more flexibility. Granted, not sure it matters that much on a board like this that is super base game heavy, but still nice for that team to have the flexibility.
Yeah, you always want flexibility. Asim.
And actually, we have a race on our hands. We got a supersonic race here as both Asim and Ellie are going for Godskin Noble. Asim got there first, but was having some issues with the cage skip.
And we'll end up almost dead even.
They're pretty much dead even because Asim has some stream delay. Asim's about 2 to 3 seconds behind Ellie. So they are dead even going into this thing. Ellie will look slightly ahead on the screen, but they are just straight up even.
Yeah, because this opens up another path of attack for Asim and Nexus if they get this on that row 5.
Yeah. Oh, Sonic Racing. Ellie has a big damage advantage early, using the Wild Strikes and being much more aggressive. Rollout comes for Ellie. If Asim can avoid the rollout here, there's a chance that he can catch.
Ooh.
Big stagger there for Asim. Ellie, beautiful dodge on the Noble Presence. Asim takes the riposte. Health is pretty much even. And
oh my god. Oh, Ellie's gonna get it.
Ellie got it. Mark was clean. Ellie got it. Ellie got it. Square goes to Ellie. Holy shit. The good news is for Asim is that this hides Prio on Blade of Mercy and Dagger Talisman.
Yep.
So he can go ahead and take that one away from her, but obviously disappointing to miss that out. And there we go. There's Lord Bosses there. I literally flipped to it as he was dying. Lord Bosses with Godfrey first, Elden Lord. That ties up the game at 5-5. Helios has a massive priority here on Morgott. Whether or not he chooses to go for it first is up to him.
Yeah, that's insane. 5-5 here as we're going crazy. Helios is actually going Sage's Cave right now, which I like a lot. That'll be a quick square. Ellie pushing towards Romina. Asim continuing to press in DLC. Nexus finally upgrading that Rivers of Blood to +9.
Yep.
Jesus. And I'm curious to see how Liurnia and Tree Bosses goes. Those two squares take some time, but...
Ellie Row Dogs, the tree skip, you love to see it. She's definitely prepping for Romina, but actually dipping into Asim's priority here in the DLC because Asim has already made it all the way to Romina, but he did not go ahead and kill Devonia. He did not go ahead and kill Romina, and Ellie doesn't know that, but Ellie's going to take away Devonia here from Asim.
Yep. And Asim is actually heading to Bellarat, probably looking at Tree Spirit, which is interesting.
We'll go full screen
And
here with
5-5.
Ellie for Devonia.
Yeah. This fight is so incredibly awkward.
I like this fight.
I like it, but the hitboxes just feel, unless you're very comfortable with it, very strange.
Yeah, I think Ellie should be pretty comfortable with this, especially because in a lot of, in the randomizer races that we've been doing that she is a champion of, along with Asim on the other side. We've added some enemies that are bosses, Devonia being one of them, right? Very beautiful dodges there. Helios is working on Gary Garrus, who is a menace, but he should get exploded. Ooh, Ellie misses the dodge there, or jump dodge there. She got hit by the actual hammer itself. She was just slightly too close, and got hit by the hammer hitbox. Just one more frost proc should do it. One more hit, and there it is. Devonia on the board there for Ellie. Very nice job. Meanwhile, Helios is about to finish up Sage's Cave here with the Black Knife, and all of a sudden this game will have flipped. Asim and Nexus had a 5-3 lead just 5 minutes ago, but boom, 3 squares in a row. Or sorry,
that's a snipe.
4
too.
squares. Yeah,
cave.
4 squares in a row from Ellie and Helios. And now, just 6 minutes later, we have a 5-7 game in favor of Tank and Top.
Ellie's actually gonna push here on getting to Romina, if not going for it.
I think Asim's gonna have to pivot back here. Because Ellie's marked Devonia, he knows that she could be on her way to Romina. I think you just grab this Grace, you sit on Tree Spirit and Bellarat. He is grabbing the Grace, and then you go Devonia, and you need to snipe that away from Ellie. But he doesn't decide to pivot out. I think that's a big mistake, personally.
Yeah. Unless they're looking at something else here, I just don't understand what it could be.
They also are under some serious pressure on the column 1, right? 3 bosses in Latenna. In order to do the return Latenna to the Postate Derelict Square, you need to go ahead and claim 1/2 of the Halig Tree Medallion by killing the Albinoric and the old man, whatever his name is. Albus. Yes. Then you need to go kill the Bloodhound Knight in Liurnia. You get the Latenna Spirit Ash and then go return it to the Consecrated Snowfields. Ellie, meanwhile, is just not really sitting on her priority, while Asim is kind of playing with his food a little bit too much here. As Ellie's going to go ahead and claim Blade of Mercy and Dagger Talisman, most likely. At least she goes ahead and gets Blade of Mercy.
And Asim is going back to Romina now, wanted to grab the sewer.
Yeah, no, never mind. I lied. Ellie, they're both continuing to sit on priority here, as Ellie just grabs Blade of Mercy because it's on the way, but she is actually going south, going through ADM. This will give her access to the Dancer of Rana.
Transformation?
In Transformation, yes. Helios here is working on tree bosses. Actually, Helios and Nexus are racing on those tree bosses. But we're going to go ahead and go full screen here with Nexus as he goes ahead and works on Romina. Dude, these players are not giving me a break in this game.
No. The damage, once again, Romina just a very late fight, and even with a plus 24.
Oh, Asim's weapon is plus 18. That explains why his damage has been lacking the entire time. I wonder, because I was gonna say, I felt like Gargoyle's Great Axe was severely outclassing this Great Sword, but
that would make a lot more sense.
Plus 18 versus plus 24, that makes a lot more sense. Rivers of Blood actually could be the key here on these tree bosses.
Yep. I mean, Helios is going to have a hard time keeping up with Nexus if they are just neck and neck.
Yeah.
Nexus will pull ahead with that fire damage on tree bosses.
Except Helios is ahead by 1 because he killed the Draconic Tree Sentinel in order to get into Capital. So it's actually 2 to 1 on tree bosses. Except no, he pivots out there. I think he actually just wanted... No, he doesn't have an elemental damage weapon. I was going to say, did he want a certain physic tier? Because he killed the one in Liurnia that drops tiers. Both these players, or all of these players, are just kind of making progress towards squares and then not finishing them out, trying to orchestrate snipes. Snipes are so devastating in this format, right? Just in bingo in general, and especially when the game is so close, a sniper 2 can be the difference. Asim gets rotted and is in the blender. Oh, clutches it out.
That was close.
Only 2 heals left though. That rot is weapon rot, so that means he's not getting ticked nearly as much. It is like the baby rot. That being said though, does put him on a timer, especially with only 2 health pots left. Needs to play pretty clean, 1 health pot left. She's
stalling.
Yeah, she's stalling. He needs to play clean and fast. He can't really afford to get hit here because he's constantly getting ticked down.
Needs a stagger, really. That would be the big thing.
Stagger, Frost proc would be huge. Helios is fighting Morgott, so we're going to go ahead and bring this to the dual screen. Asim has moved to your top left. Helios on the bottom right. The stagger does come out there for Asim. He takes the riposte. No Frost proc yet. He just needs 1 more Frost. And that'll pretty much be all she wrote. There is the Frost. But she continues to stall. And actually, that did less damage than I expected. Asim whiffs on an R1.
Work left.
There goes Morgott down. Asim greeds. Oh my god. And he gets it. And he gets it. And he gets it.
Insane.
Ooh, very close. There goes Roman it down.
Kill.
Yeah, that was... I thought he was going to get blended. He got so lucky because, well, you could say he's lucky, you could say he's good. That the hitbox on the Romana spinning attack is very weird. And he actually didn't get double hit. He phased through the first arm of the centipede, right? Now Asim here is going to go finish up the Tree Spirit and Bellarat. However, Ellie's going to go finish up Blade of Mercy and Dagger Talisman. That'll move the game to 9-7. Nexus is in the lead on tree bosses, but he does get a lot of synergy out of tree bosses, right? Nexus was forced into this play via the threat on the column 1, but was he forced into the best play? This allows him to also make progress towards Liurnia bosses and Physic Flask tiers.
Yeah, that's... I mean, Nexus here with Liurnia tree bosses Physic tiers has quite a strong play left to him. I like that a lot.
Tree Spirit and Bellarat here for Nexus.
Asim.
Yeah, and the Diag is a threat too for tank and top, actually. Good news is that like in theory, yes, Tree Spirit, like tree bosses just does take care of all of that. There goes Blade of Mercy and Dagger Talisman for Ellie. Tank and top will briefly take on a 9-6 lead.
Briefly, there's a lot of prio here for Nexus and base game on those squares.
Yep, and
they will have tree spirits. They essentially have bell bearings as well.
The big thing here, I think, coming into the late game is the fact that Ellie has already killed Ancient Dragon Man and has an advantage on Dancer of Renat in transformation, right? As we start to get towards the end game and counting squares, those 2 squares I think are going to be very, very important.
They're at least kind of in opposite directions is the good news for the Tower Princesses. You, like, ASIP could get one of those for sure if he goes right after this. But he'd have to choose right.
Yeah.
Honestly, Ellie's already...
I don't think he can with ADM, right?
Yeah.
There goes Tree Spirit and Bellarat. We'll see it in a slideshow right there. There we go.
Yep.
There we go. 9-7 lead as we go to a very tight end game. Just to remind everyone, these four players are very close friends. Asim and Ellie were teammates in a randomizer racing league that they won. Helios and Nexus have been, two rivals, two of the favorites in last season of Bingo. Helios made the finals. Nexus lost in the semifinals to Shura, the eventual champion, right? And good friends, great players, and a lot on the line here too. Asim and Nexus are comfortably in the mid-table right now at 3-3. A win here would be huge for them in terms of take a lot of the pressure off in the final 2 weeks of the season as they look to finish and make the playoffs. But for Ellie and Helios, there is a four-way fight for the 1 and 2 seeds that will secure a first round bye in the playoffs. That is between Ellie and Helios, Sci-Fi Shura, Wander and Strump, as well as Lemon and Cronies. By the way, just if anyone is curious, this is only one tree boss, even though it is a tree sentinel duo. It is one boss. Yep. You only get enemy felled one time.
Helios and Ellie getting close to taking an 11 square position here. Helios has Lieutenant set up. Ellie's in on Dancer. It's starting to look a little tough here.
Yeah.
For Nexus and Asim.
Yeah, Nexus and Asim are keeping it's not like the gap is widening, right? But as the squares continue to come off the board and you get closer to 13, that winning number, 2 squares behind early is bad, but is fine. But as you progress into the late game, it becomes much, much worse. Nexus takes care of another tree boss. He only needs one more left. Also has 3 Liurnia bosses and 7 Physic tiers. Ellie is going for the Dancer of Rana. Meanwhile, Helios is returning Lieutenant to the Apostate Derelict.
Is Nexus going to use DTS as a final tree boss here?
I think he might. Asim is actually making progress towards south for ADM, so depending on how quickly Ellie can get this done, this could be a transformation race. There goes Dancer of Rana. I imagine that she goes immediately into transformation. Very nicely done by Ellie. We're going to go full screen here with Asim as he finishes out ADM.
Ellie's actually returning to base game. It gives Asim a chance here on that.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a mistake here by Nexus. He probably should have done the Watchdog Catacomb in Liurnia because that gives him a Liurnia boss as well as a tree boss. Helios is also going ahead and killing some Liurnia bosses here. This Liurnia boss race is going to be very close.
I think the one thing this does do for Nexus is put Glory of Blood's Exaltation on the table.
Maybe.
It's not great. That's the only thing I can think of that might influence that reasoning a bit.
Also, as we go into the end game here, I do want to say if you're enjoying the bingo, this is the final game of this week, but we still have 2 more great weekends of bingo. Also, during week 8, we will be doing a big charity event as we are raising money for youth mental health and suicide prevention awareness. So be sure to be there for that as we'll be doing a fundraiser. It'll be a big fun weekend. We'll have not only the final week of bingo, but as well a bunch of other games and events going on. So be sure to be here for that. All of it will be hosted on my stream. And if you're enjoying this and want to get into bingo, you can join the Ignite team. We run bingo leagues for players of all skill levels. We can help you get into the game. We have coaches to help you out. We also run randomizer racing leagues, the home of the Nightmare Seed. It's a fantastic place to be. So definitely Join Ignite if this interests you, whether you want to play yourself or just stay up to date with all the competitive events going on.
Definitely.
And we see here,
Checking
this
back
is
in
the Liurnia boss race between ASIM and, or Nexus and Helios. I think Nexus has to win this to keep their team alive.
Yep, and he's doing Black Knife Catacomb, which is a good call, right? You got 2 bosses in here. That'll put him at 5.
I think Helios is at, this is Helios's 3rd, I believe. He killed the Royal Revenant, the Omen Killer, and the Royal Revenant, Omen Killer. How was that already 6 for Helios? What?
Bloodhound Knight to get to Latenna.
Bloodhound Knight?
Tree Avatar, Revenant, Deathbird.
All right.
Makar.
Okay, chat's saying it's 6. All right, chat's saying it's it. Omen
Omen
Killer,
Killer.
Tree
Yeah, that is
Avatar,
6.
Makar, Bloodhound Knight, Revenant, Deathrite Bird. Yeah, that's 6. Okay, he was
That's
way
crazy.
ahead. I didn't realize how far ahead he was. It just
I was
shows you
trusting
how
his
well,
mark on the squares.
yeah, it just
it's so
shows
hard to
you
keep
how good he
track.
is at synergizing stuff in, like just getting in little kills throughout the game. That made the difference there. I thought that was a close race, but
Yeah. That's
gravely
insane
mistaken.
snipe.
And that puts the Tower Princesses in a very tough spot here.
Yeah, with 2 squares left on the board. Massive prio on Latenna for Helios here. Gonna finish that up.
Yeah, Ellie obviously had the rough start with the 2 deaths to Red Wolf, but has really came to play here today. I know that a lot of the spotlight has been on Helios and Nexus, right? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares from Ellie, right? Like we've been talking about Helios and Nexus, but Ellie and Helios with 6 squares for Helios and 5 squares for Ellie, right? They're playing a fantastic team game after the rough start there for Ellie. It's been a great turnaround and really showing her class in this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Ellie, you know, she's played really well so far this season. It hasn't been as much of a thing, but going back to last season, right? That was Ellie's rookie season. In first season, the Golden Order, there were a lot of games where she was like, she'd be like, oh, in a losing spot, and she'd kind of just say, fuck it, right? For lack of a better word. And she would just start playing the best bingo that she could play. And, you know, maybe a similar thing today. Obviously, game wasn't lost at 10 minutes or whatever, but 2 deaths to Red Wolf, and then she kind of just says, screw it, right? And goes crazy.
Yeah, between Sanguine Noble here, it looks like. So probably Bloodhound Fiend for Ellie and then Latenna for Helios. That should be game.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do for the Tower Princesses. I don't think they can do anything about this.
I don't think they can either. I mean, it's been a very well-fought game from both sides, but in the end, you know, it was the Tower Princesses who prevailed. Helios's synergistic routing, being able to work in some Liurnia bosses early, right? In Ellie, despite ASIM's early lead, able to just get a small advantage in the DLC seemed to be the difference here today. It was a really well played game by both teams.
Yep.
But it's looking like it will go the direction of tank and top.
Yeah, at 12-8,
Yeah.
anything wins.
Definitely, ASIM and Nexus are definitely not out by any means. But this does really clear up the league table here, as we have 4 teams that are all but guaranteed playoffs and fighting it out for the 1 seed. And then really with this loss here today, the entirety of the bottom 6, even though we have some teams with 5 losses already, are still alive, right? Everyone has everything to play for in these last few weeks, even those teams that with 5 losses.
Ellie getting a little turned around here. Jump down the wrong side.
Yeah,
of the bridge.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah. According to Ellie's partner, she's been freaking out, and you can audibly hear her freaking out. So, might have to do with that, yeah, because she's working on transformation here, going and grabbing the painting, and however, she's actually gonna double prep. It looks like.
I mean, prepped Noble Blood Fiend, prepped transformation.
Yeah.
Leaving no path left here.
Asim has not killed Blood Fiend yet, right?
No.
And there goes the physic tears for Nexus. They stay alive, but Helios working on exaltation. Ellie double prep Sanguine Noble, and she Blood Fiend. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yep. It would take some real bottling here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way for Asim and Nexus to contest Noble Blood Fiend, Transformation, and Exaltation right now.
Yeah, this has been an absolutely fantastic game, and fantastic showing for both these teams. Now I'm out of breath. Normally I have time to shoot the shit. We shoot the shit a little bit more during the games, but I was literally just like locked the fuck in the entire time because I had to.
Yeah. I had to let you go. It's been difficult to keep track of. We lost track of Helios's Liurnia bosses there. That was sneaky.
Yeah, that was very sneaky.
And if we didn't catch it, I can't imagine Nexus was ready to get sniped on that.
Yeah,
it is a little easier sometimes as a player. I think
one of the decisions in the long run that really hurt Asim was his decision to go reprimand for stones, right? Just being lacking on the damage the entire time caught up to him.
It did feel like just behind Ellie the whole way. Nexus is going to push the bell bearings now, but that is...
Yeah, I actually think bell bearings, not that it matters, but I think if you're Nexus, you probably need to sit on bell bearings.
All the way.
Yeah. Just hold it for like the last square.
I mean, it sucks too because you got such big prio on it early, and then it was like, at this point, you're probably like, I should have grabbed that by now. And I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Like, surely someone's going to push into it.
I just feel like, again, it's not like it really matters, right? Like,
no.
They wouldn't be able to catch, but normally I think in these types of positions where you're trying to come back, right? Those squares that you have very obvious priority on, because of the Radahn's Great Rune mark, Nexus has really obvious priority on those bell bearings, given that you have to kill Radahn. There's no other reason to kill Radahn on this board. When you're trying to come back, I think you just need to sit on your priority for as long as you can and hold it and try to snipe elsewhere.
100%. Oh, and probably should have synergized the Erdtree Watchdog and wind him as well.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy. Now that he's running here, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, ultimately it was a culmination of little routing differences that were the difference here in this game, right? I mean, Asim had a little bit of struggles on the Hippo. Ellie had a little bit of struggles on the Red Wolf. Both Nexus and Helios have played super clean the whole time. Like, in terms of actual execution, I think it's been very even between the teams. But
Ellie is in here.
Ellie and
Chief Bloodfiend.
Helios are just able to route it in a little bit better. And now here we see Ellie fighting Chief Bloodfiend for the win. This will move Tank and Top to 5-1 and put them... Let me check the standings exactly. They will move to tied first place in the league table at 5-1, tied. And there we have it. A big win for Tank and Top. What a game. Congratulations to them. Very well deserved. Very well deserved.
Yeah, excellent mid-late game from them. A little early down, and I think they probably didn't mind that at all. That's probably what they wanted, just looking at this board.
Yeah, and it was so exciting because I think a lot of the games that we see, the execution required in this format is so difficult, right? So many times we see games decided by execution. And granted, there were some mistakes from both Ellie and Asim, but ultimately the game did not come down to the execution. It was just purely the bingo and the strategy. And Asim and or Ellie and Helios were better today. So congratulations to them. We'll go ahead and bring everyone in for the post-match interview here. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. GG's.
Hey,
One
GG's.
hell of a game.
GG's.
Dude.
Thank you
What's
for the
that?
exultation, Mark Helios. Massive congratulations to Tank and Top there. From our perspective, that was a game where, Nexus and Helios execution-wise were both on fire, right? Ellie and Asim both made, some minor mistakes, but overall, I think execution-wise, it was really even. You, Tank and Top, you guys were able to make the better calls here today. In terms of how you played the board, talking with you guys specifically, right? Ellie, I can't remember the last time I've seen you die to Red Wolf once, but you come and die to Red Wolf twice.
Oh no.
But then you really dial it in,
crazy.
right? And same with you, Helio. Like you and Nexus were just, that was amazing to watch. You guys were dialed all game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you guys feeling after that first 15 minutes? Ellie, I've seen you in the past where you've kind of in those like fuck it moments, right? And you just go crazy because you really did play perfect after that.
Yeah, I am really happy with myself in the sense that I didn't blow up off the face of the fucking planet after some two really dumb deaths. I was getting really bad frame drops in Liurnia, like 45 2, and it was kind of messing up like how it felt and looked for me, but no excuses after that though, really. And then the Ralva death was infuriating because that fucking bear joined the fight and brutalized me. I think he did more damage than
that
Ralva
sucks.
did. Usually Ralva just kills him, so it's not a big deal. But he is scaled, and so he's scaled higher than the boss. I swear to God. So,
Make him a squirrel. Make him a squirrel.
Yeah, I mean, but also it's my, again,
Where's Shura?
not to cope, my fault. I can pull the boss away from him. I know that can happen. I just didn't play around it, so it's my bad. But I think after I killed Red Wolf, I felt, and I had a really clean third Red Wolf fight, which is kind of a meme to say, but it was true. Like, it just went well. My Renala everything else was good. Like, I felt like I was played really fine, but definitely not happy with Red Wolf deaths. It feels sort of unexcusable, but overall, I think while dying, I still kept my mental in a good spot. Helios really clutched up for us, like you said, execution-wise. And I liked our opening game plan a ton. And I think we played around what we wanted to play around really well. Yeah, so I think, and that was a lot from my perspective, too, was strategizing some of those pieces, too. But can't take all the credit. Helios had some diabolical ideas and went well with them. So yeah, overall I'm happy we won. Obviously puts us in a more comfortable spot, but disappointed a bit with my early game, of course.
That is a bingo player, folks. They get a big win and they play amazing, and then they go, "Oh, I made mistakes."
Red Wolf deaths are inexcusable at this level for me. That's unconscionable.
Yeah, all I could think about this whole game was
Cage skip.
Yeah, that was
Oh
how I
fuck, no
engaged in
way.
Yeah, Noble was such a tight snipe.
That's why I lost the square.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 second
sucks.
snipe, 3 seconds off of 2 failed cage skips, I think. It was rough.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's insane. I wasn't sure. I was like, I literally was holding off, going off on it. I'm like, this should be marked. Like, they've marked nothing. Noble should be done soon. And Helios said, if you get X, it was the bear, hippo, whatever. If you get that, then you might as well go send Noble.
Yeah, I also died to hippo like 3 times or something.
Fuck.
That was my fuck ups they're talking about.
Or did you just go raw hippo right away?
Well, I didn't go Ralva into hippo. I just went hippo and because for Romina and for Devonia.
Yes.
And just getting Rouse set up entirely because I thought that was more important. And then when you weren't marking stuff, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just run to Romina, full set that up, and then I was at Romina Grace, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go Noble here after I bought talismans. So that's what I did. And yeah, then the rest, you guys know what happened.
Yeah, that's fair. Damn, that's
But-
crazy how close we were. I went Forges to do Sanguine Blood Fiend near the end, and so I was 25 vigor and felt pretty shaky after my earlier death, so I killed Ralva, and I said if I lose the square, that's fine. At least I get Ralva Hippo juice, and then I can still try and claim Ancient Rao area. And
Yeah, and you did.
transformation, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I only went for the square because it wasn't marked either. And I'm like, well, okay, like I might, it's Rune Bear left, right? There's some merit to sending it.
And I
So-
will say, for both these teams, a lot of intrigue in the league right now. Standings will be fully updated by sure in just a bit, right? But we now kind of have the 4 breakaway teams at the top: Budget, Hitless, Womp Womp, Tank, and Top, and the Absolutes, Time Complexity, Sci-Fi, and Shura, and then 5 through 10th all either has 4 or 5 losses. So everyone is still in play. And should be a very exciting finish to the season. Yeah. For Asim Nexus, I mean, good news is you guys are still have you played Dino and Deutz yet?
Yeah,
Yep.
we did.
Did you win? Lose?
Yeah, we won.
No.
All right, well,
Didn't we?
No.
Oh wait, no, we did. Wait, did we lose to Dino Dorts?
Yep.
I don't even remember, bro.
I'll have to double check
Just
it.
blended
Well,
together.
regardless, you guys are
That
still
game was horrible for me. I remember it. I cannot forget
Oh.
that game.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, well then you guys are still in playoffs as of right now. You are in 6th. And I think for Ellie and Helios, did you guys beat Lemon and Cronies, right?
No, we play them
We haven't
next
played
week.
them yet.
And
So
our
then-
next weekend's fucked up. We do Stromp, Wander, Lemon, Cronies as a double weekend, and I can't play this way against them. I gotta really focus up this week. Last week I took it too easy, and I'm not making that mistake for this coming week.
Well, a big
'cause,
weekend
yeah,
next
we can't play that way.
a big weekend next weekend
Why
is
can't I should say?
we have some big games to help decide who will be the number 1 and 2 seeds, as well as big games to figure out who will be the two that make it in to join those top 4. Granted, Womp Womp technically still, if they lose out, could miss playoffs, but fairly unlikely to happen, right? And it should be a really interesting finish to the season. So thank you guys so much for playing. Appreciate the hell out of all of you. Ratty, thank you, brother. Great to see you.
Always.
And we will go ahead and raid out here. We'll go ahead and raid into Ness. And I might be back tomorrow, even though I normally don't stream Mondays because I'm addicted to the Randocalypse. But then I'll definitely be back on Tuesday. So we'll raid into Ness. We will see you guys all later. Thank you so much for having a fantastic weekend of bingo. It would not be the same without each and every one of you, players, commentators, viewers, community members, everything. It would just not be the same without all of you. We're going to go ahead and raid into Ness, and we will see you guys all later. If you want to join, if you want to become a part of this community, join Ignite. Ignite. I was going to write. I keep forgetting how to spell Ignite because now I keep writing. I need to just add a command for Ingite because I misspell it every
Oh,
time. But yeah, we'll raid into Ness. See you guys all later.
Guide, man.
Have a good one. Peace.